And we're live. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of 352 Blitz. As you guys can obviously see, I'm the only host that's here today. Other two are busy, but we have two guys here. You guys remember Jordan from a few weeks ago. He was on talking about Texas and whatnot. You see you have a new face, Michael, who's also a big UT fan. We want to talk about, obviously, Texas stuff this episode. We got a Bama episode coming tomorrow for you guys as well. So before we get into everything, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff for us. Show us some love and all that. So let's get into it, man. Don't want to keep you guys here too long. Michael, obviously your first time on the show, and obviously you got on a big UT logo on your chest. You want to talk about why you're a University of Texas fan and just some of your favorite memories and whatnot as a fan of Texas?
Well, it all started. I'm from Tyler, Texas, and we all know one of the greatest players ever to hit the gridiron, Earl Campbell, is also from Tyler, Texas. And honestly, that's when I became a Texas fan, watching him play. And then I ended up actually attending UT and graduating from UT. So that just continued on from there. So that's why. I mean, and I was there during the end of Fred Akers' last year. 2 years, his last 2 years, when we switched to Mackovic. And so it wasn't a great time for football for Texas at that time. And it was tough to be a fan, but as long as we beat A&M, that's all we really cared about back then. So it was much better once Matt Brown came into the picture. And it just went from there. It just became stronger and stronger for me after that.
Nice, cool. And I know you mentioned you became a fan back in the Earl Campbell days and whatnot. If you had to pick your best memory as a UT fan, which one would it be?
Oh, God. 2005. It's the national championship. Just seeing that last second score, and I'm just like, that was like a storybook ending. There's a reason why that one play keeps getting played over and over again over the years. I mean, it's been almost 20 years. And just to see that happen over and over again, and to see that it was loud in the household. Let's just put it that way. I didn't have a voice after that game.
Yeah, I bet. Cool, man. So let's talk about a little bit about Texas before we talk about, the games and whatnot. So obviously you guys are in the SEC now. Let's start with you, Jordan. What was your first initial reaction when you heard that you were going to be in the SEC?
It's something I kind of was, I almost say I was opposed to it for a little while, but kind of, I don't know. It didn't, for some reason, didn't sit with me when it was a rumor. But the instant that it was official and it actually was announced, I was like, okay, yeah, this is going to be legit. Just joining such a storied conference. I mean, right there with, I'd say, with the Big Ten as being the strongest conference in the sport, and the level of competition that we're walking into, and just kind of the impact that having SEC on the jersey is going to have. Yeah, I mean, that's special. And selfishly, rekindling some matchups like Texas A&M, Arkansas, getting regular matchups with teams like Alabama and Georgia and Florida, like those are, it's hard to not be excited about it for sure. So I'm very much looking forward to it.
Gotcha. What about you, Michael?
Yeah, so somewhat the same. I have a different historical perspective because I was around when the SEC first approached Texas about joining a long time ago. And Texas said no at the time. The request was that if you take us, you also take Oklahoma. And did we lose Greg? Oh, there you go. You lost your audio.
Nope.
No. Still nothing.
No audio.
We can see your microphone toggle on and off, but we're not getting audio coming from you. Unless your computer lost permissions to the microphone or something.
Nope.
No.
Oh, Jesus. Give me 1 second. Okay. Can you guys hear me now?
Yep.
All right, perfect. I just had to join off my phone. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, cool.
Whatever works.
You can go to what you were saying.
Okay. Yeah, so the SEC wanted Texas to come in to join, right? And SEC and Texas basically said, we're not interested unless you also take Oklahoma. And the SEC did not want Oklahoma. And I won't go into the rumor as to why they didn't want Oklahoma, but let's just say they didn't. And so we said no. Texas just decided to opt out and continue with the Big 12. So to see how big and dominating the SEC has been over the last ever, at this point, to be the best, you got to beat the best. And I've been hungry for a long time. I'm all for it. I'm ready for this to happen. It won't be a situation like where A&M got in there. They thought that they were just going to come in there and then, spend 5 years rebuilding and then dominate. That hasn't happened. In fact, last year I had an argument with a friend of mine who went to A&M, and I said, okay, let's just do the numbers. And we looked at the Big 12 record for them and then the SEC record for them, and 0.1% difference on their win-loss record. It was still below 50%. And so I'm just like, yeah, don't talk to me about you coming in and dominating anymore. So, but yeah, I'm hungry for the A&M matchup. It's been a long time. They refused during this whole time to even play us in an off-season game. Just flat out refused, and I'm excited that they're not going to pretty much be required to. No more running.
Yeah, no more running. Yeah, for sure. So I know obviously by now the schedule for next year came out. So I'll start with you, Michael, on this one. Which team are you most excited to play, or at least which 2 or 3 teams are you most excited to play?
Oh, Alabama, A&M. You said 3.
2 to 3, yeah.
I'll throw in. God, well, I'm not counting Oklahoma because we already are going to automatically play them. But that's just a given. But of the existing teams, so A&M, Alabama, and I would probably venture to say Georgia.
I was hoping you were going to say Florida, but I got you.
Yeah, no. After that, I'm not so hyped.
I was waiting to hear. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna say 3. See if he says Florida, but no, it's all good. I got you.
Yeah, no. They have to do a little something better than what they did just now. That was embarrassing.
Nah, that's fair.
Especially after all that complaining.
For sure. What about you, Jordan?
Obviously, A&M. That one that I didn't have as a student at Texas. So I'm very excited because I felt like I was robbed of that game experience as a student. So I'm very excited for the game again. But also, the game is one that I'm really looking at because one, I could be wrong, but the only time Texas and Michigan have played was the 2004 Rose Bowl. I believe that's the only matchup between Texas and Michigan, and for two schools that are often compared so often. You'll hear Texas as the Michigan of the South. I don't know if they say that about Michigan, but Michigan's a little older and a little more historical. But two, powerhouse programs, Blue Bloods, and they're both really hot right now. I mean, you got two playoff teams that are going to be squaring up in the non-conference next year. Have every intention to go into the Big House. I mean, that's one of the most iconic venues in the country. So that one's probably going to be number one for me.
I like it. I think people keep forgetting that Texas and Michigan play next year, and is it a home series or?
We get Michigan. We have it splits. We have a series with Ohio State that splits Michigan. So we'll play Michigan and Ann Arbor next year, and then 3 years from now we get Michigan again at home.
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. Nice. I think I think you guys might have the toughest schedule because I know you guys got Georgia. You guys go to Georgia, or does Georgia go to Austin?
Austin.
Okay, nice. So you got Georgia, Michigan. I know you guys got OU, TAMU next year as well, right?
Yep, and that's in College Station.
Yeah, that's not easy at all for sure. I guess my next question. Actually, no. Let's forget all that. Let's talk about the game in a couple of days. So obviously, you guys play Washington. That's a huge game. I know you guys got into the playoffs, rightfully so, in my opinion. I think it should have been the 4 teams that got in. Georgia could have made it in before Florida State, in my opinion. Obviously, as you guys saw the game just now, I was right about that one. So what is your feeling? I'll start with you, Michael. What's your feeling really going into this game? Do you guys feel like you guys got this one in the bag? Do you feel like it could go either way? Do you think Washington's a better team? How do you feel about that one?
No. So right now the analysts are saying we're a 4-point favorite, right? And I'm always of the mind, screw what the analysts say, screw what the point spread says, go in hungry. And I take, when I was playing in high school and so forth, our coaches always said, y'all are the underdogs. Doesn't matter if we were favored. You're the underdogs. Get hungry and show them why you're here. Go out there and take revenge. Show them why you're going to dominate. Prove yourselves, basically. Every single time you needed to prove yourself.
Right. Like it. That's my girlfriend saying what's up. Shout out to Ed as well. We'll get to your question a little bit, Ed. We're going to let Jordan answer that question real quick. Then we'll go to your question, Ed. Go ahead, Jordan. Sorry.
Sorry, I got lost reading the comments.
You're good.
Yeah, I mean, I was a little bit afraid of getting Washington. I actually wish we had gone as the 4 seed because I think we match up really well against Michigan this year. And I think our biggest weakness, pass defense, is obviously Washington's. That's their strongest weapon. And with that being said, I mean, I think Texas plays to the level of the competition. They're kind of notorious for that, which is good and bad at times. And we've seen that play out even this season already. And I also think Texas will hold a bit of a grudge, and I think they do come out and they play to get that revenge. So, you saw it this year playing Alabama, narrowly lost last season at home, came out and we won that game. People, I think, are also forgetting we played Washington last year in the postseason. And that I think that's something that shouldn't be a big deal, but I think we do come out with a little bit of a chip on the shoulder, like, hey, we lost this game last year. And I think we play really hard. I think it's close. I think there's going to be a lot of points scored, but I still like our chances in that game. So.
For sure. Let's answer these couple questions real quick, then we'll talk more about the game. So Ed says, how do you guys see yourself doing in your first year in the SEC? Jordan, we'll go with you first. Let you answer that question.
I think I'd be really shocked if obviously we're going in. I've seen, early predictions were like top 3 SEC power rankings. You're going in one of 2 SEC teams in the playoff, and we're the highest ranked of the two. So obviously, we're building. Recruiting class has been pretty stellar. A lot of portal additions. I think it would be shocking to make the SEC championship. Not gonna lie, we have that really tough game against Michigan on the road. A&M on the road is gonna be hard. Georgia at home. I mean, Georgia's always a dog. No pun intended. But
Oh, wow.
I was saying. I think we'll compete, but I think we're going to drop a couple key games that may keep us out of the SEC championship game. So,
Got you.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I know that we're going to have a winning season, so I'm not concerned with that. My concern is whether or not we get to the position where we even have a chance to play for the championship first year out. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm going to be hopeful that some key plays, some key recruits are going to come in, and that's going to make all the difference in the world. So I think along with the coaching that we have, I think it's a possibility, not a probability.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, speaking of recruits, you guys stole my favorite recruit, well, one of my favorite recruits, that safety, Xavier. I don't know that.
Yep.
Yeah, that hurt my heart. Him and Colin Simmons, even though he wasn't really going to go to Florida in the first place, I thought we had a chance with him, but you guys stole him as well. But anyway, let's go to the next question. I know you guys talked about it a little bit earlier, but I guess we can go a little bit more in depth with it. We'll start with you, Mike.
Yeah, having been in school during the rivalries when it was at its height, that was the game that we just longed for. It was the game you got the most hype about. If you didn't care about football at all at UT, on UT's campus, you cared about that one game because it got that in you. And they were just as vicious, if you will. I just remember all the hype that would happen, all the celebrations that would happen, and then the road trips to A&M or having them come to us. It just didn't matter. It was going to be a top game regardless. And there was a reason why that rivalry was, 100-year rivalry almost.
Yeah.
And I can't wait till it gets started again. Oh, we're going to beat them in their home.
Yeah.
First year. I'm calling it. Jordan was a little hesitant. I'm like, no, I'm calling it. We're going to take it.
Well, I mean, Kyle Field is I mean, I'll be as objective as I can. Kyle Field it's a great stadium, and A&M knows how to fill it and get it loud. So it's going to be really hard. That game is going to be the most expensive football game for the entire season, hands down. I mean, tickets are going to be insane. And so,
I don't know. I know it's going to be one of the most expensive because it's been so long. It's definitely going to be a sellout.
As much as fans are longing for that, I know that longtime Aggie fans, the program may not be ready to play Texas, but I know the fans are ready to see that game again.
Oh yeah,
because
they never stopped.
Nothing would make their season more than to beat Texas the first time back in the rivalry. But no, I agree. I think we're going to win. I don't think Texas A&M. I mean, they're going to have first year coach. They're losing recruits. I just don't think next year is going to be their year. But it's a game where you can't take anything for granted because they're going to be hungry, ready to play, no matter what. So,
Gotcha. Cool. Thank you, guys. Thank you. So, also, whoever's watching here, if you have more questions, go ahead and throw them in there. Let's talk a little bit more about the game with Washington in a couple of days. So, you guys mentioned that, Washington has amazing passing offense. You guys have a great defense and everything. If you guys had to pick one part of the game, no, I want to say that. I would say if you guys had to pick one player that you guys want to need the most in a couple of days, who needs to bring their A game, who would you say that player needs to be? We'll start with Jordan because like Mike is thinking.
I mean, if we're talking units, that's one thing. I'd probably say the DBs, of course. But if we're talking one player that I think and most, it's T'Vondre Sweat for sure. He's the anchor of the defense. He's where it all starts for the pass rush, which to me, it's really no secret. I don't think this is like anything special. The pass rush is going to be the key to the game. I mean, if we can disrupt Penix and his rhythm, get him a little bit mobile because he doesn't really like to run around, collapse his pocket. Honestly, I think the game is well on its way to being won by Texas. So I think Sweat is kind of the key. But
so without naming a specific individual, I'll say the front line for the defense. I want those guys to get in and put the pressure on the quarterback. I don't want him to have a moment of peace. You know, I want him to always feel pressured and he's just going to make mistake after mistake after mistake. I want to send that backfield and taking him down and just humiliate them, honestly. But it's going to be a tough game regardless. But if that front line can put the pressure on, that'll allow the pass protection to happen. So put that pressure on them. So you're going to make the quarterback make some mistakes, allow them some more flexibility in the back. It'll be good.
Right.
Well,
I like
subjects. I'm sure you all saw the bulletin board material that Penix gave the Texas D-line when he was asked about playing them, and he said, "Oh, well, like, you know, they're good, but it's not like we're playing the Eagles or the 49ers D-line." And Byron Murphy quoted that and like put the game time and date on Twitter.
Which really?
Made me think of when same thing happened against Iowa State. Their center tweeted something out, and our guys were like, "Okay, all right." And then that game, they pretty well handled it. So I'm hoping similar this time around.
For sure. No,
use it as motivation.
Yeah, that's ballsy to say by Michael Penix. So let's talk a little bit about the Texas season before we get you guys up out of here. So obviously you guys beat Bama, and that was in week 2. And a couple weeks later, you guys had a big win over Baylor. And then the OU game happened and whatnot, and then you guys ended up winning out and then obviously making the playoffs. Let's talk about the season a little bit. So obviously after you guys beat Bama, what were you guys' thoughts after that game? Were you guys thinking playoffs immediately, or were you guys thinking, hey, that's a big win, but there's a long season ahead? What were your thoughts after that game? We'll start with you, Mike.
I think that was the linchpin for me anyway, to thinking, well, it's at least a Big 12 championship because we beat Bama, and that means everything. I mean, they're a powerhouse. They're a perennial favorite, right? And I'm just like, okay, we're about to run the rest of the schedule, right? I knew that Oklahoma, I mean, that's always one of those games where, okay, your turn, that type of thing, because we fight that hard, right? And sometimes it comes down to clock management. But yeah, I knew Big 12 championship. I didn't have any inkling that it would be a run for the national championship, though. It was just, the hope was there, but I didn't really think that we had a shot at it.
Gotcha. What do you think, Jordan?
I mean, initially, that was the biggest win for me as a Texas fan since.
Since you've been a Texas fan.
The 2005 national championship, I think, just what it means for the program.
Right.
So the initial shock was like, oh my God, like that was huge. But I mean, I've been for a long time because of the way Texas football has been for 13 years. I've been kind of a skeptic. Like we always get all this preseason hype, and it's like, no, don't talk to me in August. Talk to me in December when we actually celebrate. So game. Obviously, I was really excited after that, and I liked our chances of winning the Big 12. Kind of similar. I kind of was still skeptical about the playoff, but Texas has a funny way of fumbling games we should win, and we almost did that a couple times. But this is finally the year that we didn't, and we made it through, won the Big 12, and now we have something to celebrate in December. So,
yeah,
gotcha. All right, then which win this season made you guys think, okay, we're a playoff team? Hey, we can actually go far with this. Was it a Big 12 championship? Was it the TCU win? I don't know. Whatever you guys thinking. I just want to get your opinion on that.
I suspected after Iowa State, because the Iowa State in Ames at night, that is a hard game.
Yeah.
That's a game that I think OU lost that game 3 years in a row. Like Texas struggles. I mean and it's always in November. I swear we always get Iowa State in November. It's always cold.
It's cold.
We handled Iowa State, and that's kind of when I thought, okay, we can win the Big 12. We should win the Big 12. And then
Right.
I thought to myself, like, okay, we're a playoff team, 100% for sure. Sitting there watching the Big 12 championship live, that was one of the better games I've seen Texas play since the 2000s. So
Nice.
Yeah, I would say that game was a pivotal hope point. But then for me, it became about watching the other teams and the other conferences. And I'm like, wait, the cards could align. We might be able to squeak in, and it did. It's like you needed all these cards to just fall in place, and they did. So some key decisions, some key games were won by some other teams and made it work for us. So we got a shot to actually prove ourselves, and hopefully we won't pull a Florida State.
I hope not for sure. Two more questions before I let you guys go. So obviously the other game in Michigan and Bama. Who do you guys have winning that game?
Michigan.
Well, I got that one.
Gotcha.
You got Bama on it? It's going to be I think it's going to be a tight game, but I don't know. I just have a feeling Michigan's going to pull it out at the last minute.
I will say that the longer I think about it, the less sure I am. Like, I think it's the more I think about it, the closer I think that game's going to be. The way I really think about the matchup, but I just think Michigan. I don't have a lot of faith in JJ McCarthy, and I just don't think he's played anyone like we've seen Ohio State. So Ohio State lost to Missouri. Not that Missouri is not a good team; they absolutely are. We've seen all year that the Big Ten is just not that good. I mean, frankly, so we haven't seen Michigan play. Best game they played is Ohio State, and I don't see that level of competition beating Alabama the way Alabama's trending in the season.
They did trend up, so I will say that. Yeah,
for sure. Cool. All right, guys, and we're pushing out 30-minute mark. So one last question. Let's start with Jordan. What is going to be your score prediction for the UT and Washington?
Come on, man.
We're going to hold you to it, so.
It's going to be fireworks. We're both going to score a lot of points. I could see it being something like 45-42. I mean,
no, really?
45-42 Texas, razor thin. And it's going to be, we're going to go out and score a lot of points and get up, and we're going to have to hold them off from the comeback.
Fair. One last question, Jordan. And who's your MVP for that game?
I think it'll be Sweat. If we win, it's because we did the job on the defensive line, and that's going to be Sweat. So I think he's the MVP.
Fair. What you got, Mike?
I don't think the game's going to get out of the 30s, and I think we're going to win by a field goal. I think it's going to be a really tight game. Both teams are hungry. Everybody's expecting it to be a battle. In terms of an MVP, I think it's going to come down. Well, no, it's going to be yours. It's just going to be him. Captain, you get the accolades, and you also get all the faults. So if an MVP is crowned, when our MVP is crowned, it will.
I like it. I like it. Cool. All right. So, Jordan, you said 45-42, you guys. And then what was your score again, Mike?
I said it wouldn't get out of the 30s, but I'll say, let's go. I don't know. I don't think it's going to get in the 40s, though.
I got it. All right, cool. We'll just say UT winning by.
I'll say 36-39, Texas.
36-39, Texas. All right, cool. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you. We're at the 30-minute mark. I don't want to keep you guys too long. Like I said, if you haven't already, make sure you like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff. And you guys, appreciate you guys coming on. Mike and Jordan, you guys are amazing. This is fun for sure. And I will check back with you guys after you guys win, because I think you guys are going to win, honestly. So after UT wins in a couple of days, I'll text you guys, all right?
All right.
All right.
Sounds good. All right, guys. You have a good night, okay? I
Peace
appreciate
out,
you.
y'all.
See you guys.